19,000 kids. No, let me rephrase that. 19,000 champions. You see, guys, I know without a doubt that Taft High is the greatest school in the world. And the people that have graduated over the last 100 years from this great school have left us a legacy. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. I think about a guy named Admiral Putnam who did 34 years in the United States Navy. He decided what the secret to success was. He decided what he wanted. He decided what he was going to have to give up to get what he wanted. And then he made a decision to get what he wanted. 34 years. That man left us a legacy. What's your legacy going to be? I think about a doctor who graduated from Taft High in 1952. He went on to operate on 2 United States presidents because he decided what he wanted. He decided what he was going to have to give up to get what he wanted. And then he went after what he wanted. He left us a legacy as he chased his dream. What is your dream? What is your legacy? The person I'm going to bring up to you on the stage in just a couple of minutes is known as a world-class athlete. I don't want to step on anything that Billy's about to share with you guys in a few minutes. So I'm going to stick to my notes just so I make sure I get it right. Billy Nelson graduated from Taft Union High School, the greatest school on the face of the planet. Somebody say aha! He was a member of the 2004 as well as the 2008 Olympic Games, and also a 2011 All-American. In the sports world, he is known as an American, an Olympian, and a champion. But because I have this mic in my hand, let me tell you what Billy Nelson is to me. Billy Nelson is a world-class person. I talk to you guys about that all the time, don't I? If you play sports, that's fantastic. I think it's great. But I want you to be a world-class person. If you're in the band, I think that's fantastic. But more importantly, I want you to be a world-class person. Let me tell you why I know Billy Nelson was a world-class person. I was a cross-country runner. I'm sure you can tell. And I was fast. But I wasn't fast like the man that I'm going to introduce to you guys in just a second. And I told you that Billy Nelson is a world-class person, folks, for this one reason. If you have ever run cross-country in your life, let me tell you what it's like. It's called 5K. It's 3.1 miles. When you come to that final stretch and you finish, they have these little flags that you run in between. You have your name stapled to your shirt. Man, this takes me back to the old days when I ran cross-country. And once you give it everything you've got, you run to the finish line and you run through these little flags and you are exhausted. If you gave it all you had, there's nothing else you can do. You are literally bent over, going like this. It's all you can literally do to reach up, pull your name tag off your shirt, and stand up and walk through the line because they're yelling at you, keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. And you hand your name tag to the person who is one of the scorekeepers. That's how the rest of us in the world, cross-country people, do it. This is what I watched Billy Nelson do for 4 years at Taft High. Billy Nelson came into Taft High, and I swear to you, he was about this tall. This tall, Bill? Hey, much more, much more. He wasn't much bigger than that. There's a picture of Billy Nelson in the athletic director's office. If you ever get a chance, folks, go up there and check out this picture. It's amazing. It shows this man with his arms crossed like this, and I'm telling you, he was about Billy, I'll give you this much. He was that tall. And there's about 8 or 9 guys from Garces. Don't get me started on Garces. I don't like Garces. But they're all this tall, and Billy was this big. And Billy was standing here like this, just concentrating on what he was about to do. I was told that was the first race that he won his freshman year. This is the difference between Billy Nelson and every one of us. When the race was over, Billy Nelson would get out in front. His coach is here. Good to see you, Coach Dennis. Welcome back, sir. Give him a big hand. And for 4 solid years, I watched Billy run through the finish line way ahead of everybody else. But that's not what made him a champ. Kimmy's super fast. Oh, I know he's fast. Kimmy won all these races. Oh, I know he won all those races. Kimmy made it to the Olympic Games. Oh, I know. But the thing that made him a great person is after he ran through the finish line and ran through the little tags, he would literally take it off his shirt and he would hand that to the person. He would run out and he would sprint back, and I watched him do it. After his race was long over, first place, he ran out about a quarter of a mile. And he would stand there and say, "Come on, guys! You can do it! You can do it! Finish strong! Kick it in! Kick it in! You can do it!" That deserves a round of applause. That's the Billy Nelson I know. A guy who had more talent than anybody all those 4 years. But he still cared enough to go on and cheer other people on as they finished up. He wanted them to do their best. Billy's going to talk to you in just a couple of minutes. And I know he's going to tell you to do your best. What is a champion? A champion is a person that takes your gifts, your talents, and abilities and uses them all up. Uses them to the best of your ability. And you will become a champion, whatever it is you do. I'd like to call Billy Nelson up here at this time. Give him a big round of applause. I think it's only right as Billy comes up and we say, USA! 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 USA!
You're going to try to, my coach, Mr. Dennis, actually said I should try to find that photo that he's talking about because it's kind of funny. I think it's funny. Other people think it's inspiring, but maybe there's a fine line between the two. I majored in history, not public speaking, so this isn't going to be perfect. And following Kim there is pretty hard to do anyway. So, but he definitely touched on a lot of things I want to talk about. Mostly just about surrounding yourself with people that lift you up and surrounding yourself by positive influences in order to achieve the goals you have in mind. I really enjoy my time coming back to Taft High. I try to come back a couple times a year at least and see friendly faces and meet new people. It just takes me back and reminds me of where I grew up, and just like everyone in here, I started off in elementary school in Taft and worked my way up through high school and left on my own journey. But it's always fun to be back and share my experience. Less talking about my successes as a runner, because I don't really like to do that much, but mostly just share that if I was able to do it from where we all start off from, anyone can. As Kim started off talking, you know, he says Taft Union High is the greatest high school in the state. It's the greatest high school in the country. It really is. We have a lot of positive influences here that roam around these halls as a regular basis that are here for you and to help you achieve what you're trying to accomplish in life, whether it's athletics, academics, and so on and so forth. So definitely give a round of applause to the staff that's here now. A lot of of them were here when I was here, and I, through the great world of Facebook, stay in contact with them and am able to still talk with them on a regular basis, so it's nice to stay in touch with them. I was born and raised in Taft, starting from 1984. That's how old I am, Miss Hoff, Miss Malden. And I went to Roosevelt Elementary School, Lincoln Junior High School, and Taft Union High School, and went on to the University of Colorado. But this is that photo here. It's pretty good. These were small here. I'm not even this tall yet, but maybe one day. So that's the photo. It's a great shot. Actually, Mr. Dennis sent me that a little while ago and reminded me of my humble beginnings. But that was the first race I won in my freshman year, cross-country race out of Garces. The little tag on the shirt is what Kim was talking about, although now we have technology and you don't have to take your shirt thing off anymore. You just run through and they can tell you how fast you ran. But no, this was a great start to where I ended up. And I really love this photo because it shows determination in my face. I was ready to win this race before the gun went off, and it ended up happening, and it kind of set me on a path that I was unsure of at that time. I played junior football in junior high, and then I still that size, and I wanted to play football in high school, and my dad he never really negatively talked to my accomplishments or my goals that I set forth, but he said, running, people try to catch you to pass you, and in football they try to catch you to smother you, and I didn't want to be smothered, so I started running. But I started running in 8th grade, junior high there at Lincoln, and just really clicked with me. My best friend at the time, Nick Kramer, who's the uncle of two guys in here, Van and Isaac. Are they here? Make sure that they're here. Their mom told me to check on them. So he got me into running, and I really fell in love with it. It was something that just came natural to me, and at first I just did it for fun. I did it to hang out with friends and train, but it turned into something that was able to take me many years down the road. When I came into high school here, I met Coach Dennis and Coach Malden, and they really helped put me on the right path to success. And again, it just surrounding yourself with positive influences. I was able to have a great group of support staff, both friends and faculty and family, that was able to help me achieve my dreams with positive criticisms and not really putting any limits on me. However, during my journey, I've definitely been faced with negative comments, negative influences, and a lot of limitations placed on me, mostly because of that picture there, my size. The steeplechase event that I chose to make my main event is jumping over wooden barriers on the track that are 36 inches high, which basically is my hips. And I'm racing guys like this guy here, that his hips come up to my shoulders. And a lot easier for them to hurdle. And so, I think maybe deep down inside, I chose that event because it was something that people didn't think that I could do, and I wanted to master it. And with the help of my surrounding support staff, I was able to do that. And so I was able to accomplish a lot of fun things here, travel around the state here in high school, and go on to college and have a career there. I went to the University of Colorado in Boulder, and was lucky enough to travel to many places around the country. A lot of places that I've seen on TV and movies and read about in books, and I don't know the best place to find this. And meet a lot of people and do a lot of fun things with my running. And the main thing that I'm trying to talk about was definitely what Kim touched base on. You can read in an article about the accomplishments that I achieved, the times I ran, or the fact that I made the Olympic team. But really, it's just the journey of getting to there, and it all starts right here. Looking at everyone here, and you looking at your neighbor and your friends that are in here. These are the people that are going to help you achieve greatness. The team sports have that kind of instilled in them already. That we believe, as athletes, believe in synergy. That the sum is greater than the whole of its parts, and each individual is what makes the team be successful. And I see the football guys here with their jerseys on, and they all know that they've lived that every day with their teammates and stuff. But in the academic world, in your personal lives, surrounding you with that synergy is something that I hope that, I know that Kim touches base on quite a bit. I've seen a lot of his stuff on, read his transcripts online, and a lot of the students that I've talked to have talked about what he's talked about, and it really just starts about surrounding yourself with positive people. And so starting in high school, back when I started running with my best friend, it was just a family. It was him and his cousins, and we ran and achieved things together and used each other as people to impress and people to support, but also use them as a stepping stone to help us achieve greatness. And when I went on to college, it wasn't just for me, it was for my family, it was for my friends, it was for my staff members here, it was for everyone, to help them see that the dream that they helped create was going on. I didn't want to give up on myself, but I didn't want to give up on them. And taking that to the next level in college, it was a big step for me. It was moving to a different state, being surrounded by different people. My family at the time wasn't out there. My dad moved out shortly after, but being there and kind of doing it alone, at first was kind of challenging. Just racing new people, seeing different people that you've never seen before, and trying to surround yourself with, is this team going to be the same as I had last time? Are they going to support me as much as I was supported before? Can I do this alone? But again, everybody has, as you surround yourself with positive people, you start attracting positive people, and that was what I was able to do with my step in college, was attract more positive people to be positive for them, but then be positive for me. And along with being positive with other people and having them support you, as Kim was touching base on, was not only being wonderful at your task, being a great science major, great football players, or track athlete, or biologist, is being a good person. And that's one thing that I've learned in my journey is there's nothing negative about a kind comment. There's quotes all over, the cliche quotes that you read on all the memes that people see on social media, but one of them is about smiling. A smile goes a long ways, and just using that, taking a step over that line to be nice and wonderful and being kind to a stranger is something that I believe in, and I think that's what's helped me keep moving on in my journey, was attracting the right people to support me, but also being kind and treating people with respect to build them up, because that's what I achieved and was able to experience while I was here, is positive people and how they changed my life and influenced my life. So my time here in high school was great. I accomplished what I hoped to accomplish. I won a state title in cross country. I broke the school record in a couple events, and it set me up for my next step. And that next step was to go to college and try to win the NCAA championship there, or try to win a team title there, and I was able to do that. My last cross country season, we won an NCAA championship as a team. The best feeling in the world is winning a championship as a team. I've accomplished a lot of individual goals, but winning that title as a team was something that I'll never forget. And then that set me up to more individuals type goals. After college, there was no team aspect really, it was more individual, but using what I learned with the team atmosphere, I kept pushing myself forward to be able to take running to the next level, which was a post-collegiate career, running professionally for Nike and then New Balance, and then running professionally for causes that I believed in, taking it one step further, throwing out the sponsorship idea and running for something that you actually believe in. And that was what I did my last year. I ran for a political cause that I believe in, a Native American political prisoner. And so I was able to take that and turn it back on its wheels there and saying, this is why I'm really doing this. I'm doing it for taking a negative situation and turning it positive and putting my spin on it. But this video that they have here the video that he's going to show, some of you have already seen it, Coach Newton told me, but it's my Olympic trials race. We're going to go in a little bit because it's 8 minutes long, and I know most people don't want to sit through and watch this for 8 minutes. But it's the last 2.5 minutes, and this was setting up this, as we are now. Basically, in this particular race, it was the finals in 2008 at the Olympic trials, and I had to be top 3, but I also had to run the A standard, which is a certain time that you have to hit in order to make the team. So if I would have won this race, but didn't run fast enough, I wouldn't have been able to make the team. And at the time, I didn't have the standard. So I was racing for place, but also for time. And the guy out front is a guy named Anthony Familetti, he was racing for time as well, but no one knew at the time. We all thought he had the mark, but because he hit the time in a race earlier this year, but it didn't count for some reason. So from the get-go, from when the gun went off, he went out at a blazing speed, way faster than my PR, and I had to make a decision. I had two race plans. One was to lead, which I'd always loved to do from the beginning, or trust my race plan and say, these splits are way too fast. And I chose the latter, took a gamble on the fact that he's gonna come back, and I'll just hit the splits that I need to hit these times. And so this is 2.5 minutes to go. We have about 2 laps to go here. And up in here, I'm kind of blurry up in the top. I'm in 4th position here. And Anthony's in the front here. But we'll watch this for 2.5 minutes and then I'll kind of talk a little bit about it.
Here's the crowd with a big lead all over. Second, but McAdams is closing in. Then it's Nelson and Morse.
Well, Familetti is out on his own. He has the advantage of the jumbotron on either side. He's looking up. He can see that he is...
I'm in the blue. The short one.
Second spot. In the spot on the Olympic team. McAdams is stalking him. Now McAdams has probably the best closing speed in the entire field.
Josh McAdams, the guy in 3rd right here, well, he's 2nd on the screen, has a really big kick and his coach likes to talk about it.
Moves up the front, and Nelson also closing some ground. Morse is there too.
Billy Nelson from the University of Colorado has not given up on this, and he goes by McAdams.
And Nelson takes over second.
I love you, Mom.
This is boring? No. Why? No, I'm just... This is taking a while to vote. Because when a huge building, that's why. When a huge building signal goes away, it is slow.
Seems to be coming back. They may have a chance of getting it.
Tiring a bit, but still with a big lead. Nelson sets sail after him. McAdams right on his heels. Into the turn, the large jump approaches. Anthony Familetti with the big lead. Nelson and McAdams over the water jump. Familetti turns forward with the advantage. Nelson there as McAdams alongside the challenge. Here's Familetti over the final hurdle. Has taken over second. Nelson comes back. Those two fighting for the final 2 spots. Familetti's going to win it. It's going to be Nelson second and McAdams third. It's also
My #1 fan. So that race, at the point I didn't know, with 400 to go, I didn't know I was top 3. I didn't know how fast we were running, but all I knew is as Familetti was coming back, like I really thought I could win. I could win that race. And coming out of college, making the Olympic trials, I mean, everyone knows the Olympics. You know, they forget about track and field really for 4 years of track really, but the Olympic trials are big. And making the final in this year was big for me. I just came out of college. Probably 4 months before that, I kind of thought that I was done running. I didn't know if I was going to be able to run post-collegiately. We had our conference meet at our home track and it went really well, but I was kind of thinking about the future. I didn't know if this was going to be my last year running. I talked to a friend of mine about maybe quitting running and moving on in life and just saying it was great, it got me to college, I got a good education, but maybe I should set focus on my real job. And this race really changed everything for me for the next almost 10 years really. But in that race, making the final, I PR'd in the prelim, so I ran 8:28 earlier that year, and then I ran 8:26, but I was still a few seconds off the mark. And then in this race, I ran 8:21, so I PR'd by 7 seconds in a matter of 3 weeks. But this whole race, you know, it was really just to be out there, to be competitive. But deep down inside, going back to what I had talked about before, was just how much this meant to the people around me that helped me get to where I was. And I just said, I'm not going to settle for just a PR. I'm not going to settle just for making the finals of the Olympic trials. I really think I can make this team. But then as Sam was coming back, I was like, I think I can win. I can win this race. And when I got done, I didn't know how fast I ran. I didn't know if I hit the time. And I looked up on the board and I saw that I hit the mark. And just so much emotions came over me. And it was just there. I'd accomplished that dream. And it set me up for the next few years of racing. So that race is really important in my journey because it reflects on a lot of different situations for me, and not just an athletic achievement, but achieving what my support staff wanted from me from the beginning. And that was it. I remember talking to Coach Malden on bus rides about making the Olympic team, and her having serious conversations with me as a sophomore in high school. And not saying, yeah, it's a pipe dream, you know, because it wasn't. And I didn't think it was, and she honestly didn't think it was either. And I have conversations with people about that on a daily basis as well, too. I'm now a coach at the University of Colorado. I do a lot of recruiting, so I talk to high schoolers on a regular basis about, obviously, track and field, but also about their academic stuff too, because we want them to have a future in academics as well too, as athletics. And so to be able to talk to them about their dreams and seeing what they're able to accomplish, and knowing that where I was as a junior in high school to where I was as a senior was a big jump for me, and knowing that people now can still make that jump as well too. And so this led to going to China and racing there. I raced in Paris, I've raced in Monaco, which is a small, really expensive country in Europe. And I've raced in Rome, Japan a couple times. I've been all over. And again, it's not necessarily because of the talent that I've had with running, but it's just the path that I was set on because of back to the surroundings that I had here. And it all started here. It all started where you guys are starting now. Taft gets knocked on a regular basis on what type of town it is and what they have to offer, but this school and the soil that you walk on every day is what makes people who they are all over the country, and we're no different than any place. It could be New York City, it could be LA, but we're Taft, and we're Taft strong, and we know it. And that's what I took from here and took it to big cities and said, you have your big city, but I have the support back home. I'm running for people back home, and that's what I took with my journey was the support and staff that I've had here. And so. And so I don't really want to keep reiterating what I want to talk about. Like I said, I've had a great running career, and I've channeled that into my recruiting now and taking the steps. I started off as a small-time runner at high school level, to go into college, to running professionally, and now giving back as a coach and setting up people's futures now. And my recruits have gone on to win NCAA championships, and I feel just as excited for that as I did with my own career. And now it's just back on you guys. What you guys can do. What legacy can you leave? I had people that I looked up to from Taft High when I was graduating, and as weird as it sounds, I hope that you guys can use my story and my journey and use that as an inspiration for you guys to say, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer, which I could never be, or an athlete or whatever, but just say that he was able to do it, and so can I. Because there's nothing special about me. It's just really how you set up your life and who you surround yourself with. And so I think we have a little bit of time. If people do have questions, I'm here for questions. I do have one request though. Last time I was in town for a wedding, my wedding, we toilet papered Mr. Newton's house, and I heard that he moved from that place, and so if someone knows where he lives, I would definitely like to know, because I'm back for a wedding, and it's tradition, right? We believe in traditions here, so it's tradition. But thank you guys so much. Again, I'm not a professional speaker, so hopefully it wasn't too boring, but thank you so much.
Okay, we have a little gift for Billy from Taft High right here. We have a jacket and the AD department has got this for Billy.
Give it up one more time for Billy Nelson. Billy Nelson's going to be with us, guys, for a while, so make sure you come up and introduce yourself, talk to him, get to know him. He's a great guy. One more time for our champion, Billy Nelson. And Mrs. Finn, she said we can go. Thank you very much.